Hey guys, it's Nitro here today with a Survival Hunter Mythic Plus guide. I'll be going over stat priority, builds and talents, single target and AOE rotations, and lastly I'll cover trinkets as well. Now before I get started, only 7% of you guys are subscribed. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that sub button. It helps out the channel a lot. And without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So this is the talent tree we'll be using for Mythic Plus. Its primary focus is AOE. The first thing I want to go over is the Wildfire Infusion talent. This replaces our Wildfire Bombs ability, and it causes us to have 3 different bombs that do different things on a rotation. So the first bomb is Shrapnel Bomb, and it causes our Mongoose Bite and Butcher to apply a bleed for 9 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. The Pheromone Bomb gives us a reset on kill command when we use kill command on a target affected by this bomb. And the Volatile Bomb causes fire damage against enemies with Serpent Sting, and it applies Serpent Sting up to 3 targets. We're also going to be using Butchery here, which is an AOE that we'll be using. I'll be using Fury of the Eagle, which is a channeled ability over 4 seconds that does increase crit when the mobs are 20% or lower on health. Next we're going to cover Coordinated Assault, which this is like our main big damage cooldown. With this talent, you strike your target, and then your pet's basic attacks empower your next spell casts. Our kill shots cause a bleed of 50% of the initial damage over 6 seconds and up to 3 targets. This combined with Birds of Prey means our kill shots will hit up to 6 targets with Coordinated Assault active, and our Wildfire Bomb damage is increased by 20%. So kill shot for AoE is probably one of our highest AoE abilities when we have our Coordinated Assault up, and that's going to be a lot of our damage with this build. We'll also be tanking Flanking Strike right here, which gives us a 30 focus. We also have our Harpoon, which is like our gap closer. It pulls us to the target, does damage, and gives us 20 focus over 10 seconds. And lastly, we'll be using Mongoose Bite, which is a single target attack. It gives us a buff called Mongoose Fury. Mongoose Fury increases the damage of our Mongoose Bite by 15% for 14 seconds, stacking up to 5 stacks. But successive attacks do not increase the duration, which that is very important to know. Mongoose Bite will be our main focus spender, and it will do the majority of our damage on single target and a big chunk in AoE as well. After doing keys, I'm doing about anywhere from 60 to 70k overall damage, and Mongoose Bite is always number 1 on damage. So this is going to be our main spamming focus spender here. And then for the Hunter tree, we're going to be taking Kill Command. This just sends our pet and does some damage. Kill shots. We're going to be taking Survival of the Fittest, Misdirection. Our interrupt is Muzzle. It's on a 15-second cooldown. Make sure you're interrupting guys. We have Heart Trap. This is good for Mythic Plus as well. It just helps slow the mobs as the tank needs to kite. Trank Shot, again, this is good for Mythic Plus. We have Intimidation with this build, which is really nice because it's an extra stun we can do, used to interrupt. We're also going to have Binding Shots, Camouflage, which can be handy in Mythic Plus if we need to sneak by a certain pack. We have, and lastly for abilities, we have our Explosive Shot, and we have our Death Chakram. And then we have Serpent Sting as well, so we're also using Serpent Sting with this build. So, like all the other Hunter specs, we have a lot of utility. We have Binding Shot, Trank Shot. These are all very good in Mythic Plus. We have a Stun. This is great in Mythic Plus as well. And we have Misdirection to help tanks get aggro. We have some defensives here. And we have a Camouflage if we need to sneak past stuff. So, like I say, Hunters are really good in Mythic Plus. We have a lot of utility, and we're a great class to bring along to a key. Alright, the next thing I want to go over is stat priority. And before we go over stat priority, I want to mention that you should be simming yourself. Everyone's different. Your stat values are going to change depending on how much stats you have. So for example, right now I have a lot of mastery. So mastery, the more of a stat you have, the less valuable it becomes, and the more valuable the other stats become. So, but in general, for survival, the stat priority is haste, crit, versatility, and then mastery. So that's why I want to make sure you guys sim yourself so you can adjust as needed there. I'll cover a flask. So the best flask is to use is the File of Corrupting Rage, and that's best by like 2 to 3% more damage in most situations. But it does a lot of damage to yourself, and it can kill you in certain situations. So just be wary of that. It's happened to me plenty of times. If the damage is too much, you should use the File of Tepid Versatility, which is nice because it gives you some survivability as well with that verse. The best DPS potion to use is the Elemental Potion of Power. Increase your primary stat for 30 seconds. And then lastly, buy health potions and use health stones. They'll save you in Mythic Plus a lot of the time. Alright, next thing we're going to be covering is the rotation. Alright guys, the first thing I will cover is the AOE rotation. And the first thing we need to talk about is the opener. So the opener is Wildfire Bomb, then it's a Death Chakram, Coordinated Assault, Kill Shot, Explosive Shot, Butchery, Wildfire Bomb, and then after that it's our priority system, and our priority is up here. And it is a pretty hard rotation, guys, not gonna lie, compared to marksmanship and survival, or BM. So main priority is to not be capped out on Wildfire Bombs. Then we want to be using this on cooldown, provided it doesn't cap us on focus. When we want to be using Coordinated Assault on cooldown, Kill Shot on cooldown, Explosive Shot on cooldown, Wildfire Bomb on cooldown, Fury of the Eagle on cooldown. So this actually isn't too bad. The 1 through 7 is just like use these buttons on cooldown. And once you get your opener done, they'll all be on cooldown and they'll be coming up at different times, so it's not too difficult. The next thing is to use Flank and Strike. This is one of our big focus generators. We want to only be using this with 60 focus or less. We also want to be using Mongoose Bite to spend our latent poisons from our poison injection talent when they reach 8. So make sure to check all active targets for their debuff stacks. You never want it to exceed 8 on any target. This, for me, is the hardest part because right now I'm just focusing on all my other rotations. That looking at like the unit frames and seeing which poisons have, you know, how many targets have how many poisons is very difficult. So I am still learning this. I'm still in the spec, but I think I got it down mostly. Kill command when you have 60 focus or less, or it's about to cap on charges. So kill command is a focus generator with this spec. Kill shot on cooldown. And then lastly, you want to be using Mongoose Bite. You should use it on targets that either do not have a Serpent Sting active or targets with a low duration remaining on it due to Viper's Venom. So, with all this said, I will show you guys what the rotation looks like in AoE, and we'll cover everything about it. Alright, so now this is what the AoE rotation is going to look like.
3, 2, 1.
So I just start off with my Trinket, my Manic Reap Torch, and then I'll follow this opener here. I like to keep the opener here as a reference for me, just because it's easy to see. Okay, opener is done. Now we are following the priority list of the AoE rotation. So kill shots up. That's our biggest priority here. Fury of the Eagle on cooldown. We're almost at 2 charges here, so I should be using a bomb here, which I do. And then we have kill shot. Also, I just use a shrapnel bomb. As you can see here by the blue indicator, that's like the blue indicator here, and I also have this buff right here for 5 seconds. When you use your shrapnel bomb, that's when you want to be using your butchery because it does the bleed over time. So I have that 3 butcheries there. It's nice. As you can see, there's that bleed right there. It's also stacks, so you can see that bleed on the mobs. Kill shot with Coordinated Assault. Kill shot does a lot of damage, as you can see right there. It hits up to 6 targets with our talents, and it also does bleed damage. I have 2 stacks of bombed. I should be using a bomb. Yep. Okay, so you can see here, I have kill command and I have flanking strike. These are my 2 focus generators, but I have 81 focus. I don't need to be using these right now, right? So I should be using a Mongoose Bite. Mongoose Bite is our biggest. Mongoose Bite and Butchery are our focus spenders. And as you can see, here's that stack, the Mongoose Fury stack. So right now my Mongoose Bite does a lot more damage here, but as you can see, when I use it, the duration doesn't reset. So I have 5 stacks now, and it's still not resetting. So this is when the highest amount of damage my Mongoose Bite will be doing. Okay, I have bomb up. I just use a bomb. I have a low focus. So I use a bomb, and then I use butchery, but then I have like 0 focus. That's when I use kill command, so I can get more butchery stacks off, so I can get those bleeds with shrapnel bomb active. Bombs up, I use a bomb. And then I had 30 focus. That's when I use a flanking strike to get some focus back. Death shock, I'm on cooldown. Here I would just be spamming Mongoose Bite. Trying to see, like, there's 8 stacks of latent poison, but right now I don't have many stacks at all. You get the stacks from your bomb. Fear the Eagle's up, I'd use that. And then bomb is coming up. It's the shrapnel bomb. This is when I want to be using butchery, which I am. There's a kill command to get more focus, so we can use that last butchery before the shrapnel bomb debuff leaves. I should use a bomb here. Explosive shot on cooldown. Flanking strike because I was less than 60 focus. Nothing else was really up. And then that is pretty much the AOE rotation, guys. I am doing 123k damage there. My gear is not good. As you can see, my haste is low. My haste is really low. I'm all decked out for marksmanship right now in terms of enchants and gems. And then how much should we reach? Opener is almost 200k. Now I want to go over that. The one downside of survival, I feel like the weakest part of survival is the AoE damage. Like, we're totally spec'd for AoE, and we're not doing much AoE damage at all compared to marksmanship or beast mastery. However, our single target is really strong. I feel like it's underrated. Even with this build, our single target damage is strong. And then that's what we're going to be going over next. The single target rotation for Mythic Plus. So this is not the raid single target rotation. This is just purely with this AoE build on bosses and Mythic Plus. Alright, so for the single target rotation, this is the priority system it looks like. So we're going to be using Harpoon on cooldown. And when you use Harpoon, you're going to be away from the enemy. So try to get away from the enemy as fast as possible so you don't lose like too many auto attacks while you have to do so. And then the next ability is Death Shock on cooldown. Kill Shot while Coordinated Assault is active. We're going to be using Mongoose Bite to get our buff up. Kill Shot on cooldown. Flanking Strike with less than 60 focus. Coordinated Assault. Use a Pheromone Bomb while Mongoose is down, and you have less than 43 focus. This is to ensure that you'll not needlessly focus cap when you spend the procs on kill commands. And then you cast kill command. We only have one charge though. If you're low on focus, spam Mongoose Bite. Use Wildfire Bomb when it's about to hit 2 charges. And then start Mongoose Fury window when you have a lot of focus. Explosive Shot cooldown. Wildfire Bomb cooldown. So pretty much this single target rotation outside of our cooldowns is to use our Mongoose Bite a lot. That's the main damage, and then use our other things like as they're coming off cooldown, and then also use our focus generators to have enough focus to spam Mongoose Bite. And then our opener, Death Chakram, Harpoon, Wildfire Bomb. We don't have Spearhead, Mongoose Fury, and then that regular rotation. This is what I use for the opener here. And it's going to give me some success. So this is what it will look like.
1.
Okay, so as you can see here, I start with my trinkets.
Bloodlust.
My cooldowns is my opener right here. So this is nice. Haste is really nice in the spec. I have very little haste, but once you pop Bloodlust and you got your Berserking up, it feels really good. Pop in Kill Shot when that's up. And then right now, I'm spamming Mongoose Bite. Using a bomb when it's near 2 charges. Kill Shot when it's up. And I'm spamming Mongoose Bite here. Using Flanking Strike for focus there. Harpoon. Harpoon's off the GCD, by the way. So you can use it. You can spam it as you run out and like use a kill command if you can as well. I'm using kill command right now. This is because that bomb is active. We can use it, it resets. I'm just using kill command there for the focus so I can spam Mongoose Bite. And that's really it. Right now, you'll just see me. I see these stacks right here. This is my Mongoose Bite stacks. I'm just trying to get to 5 as soon as possible, really. And then just spamming Mongoose Bite as much as possible. Using bombs, using everything else when it's off cooldown. We're also not using Butcher at all, or Fear the Eagle at all in the single target rotation. Harpoon on cooldown. It gives us a lot of focus over like 10 seconds. Explosive shot on cooldown. Bomb on his 2 charges. And then everything else, just Mongoose Bite. I'll use Mongoose Bite here. You'll see I have Flanking Strike up, but I'm not going to use it because I have 5 stacks of Mongoose Fury and I only have 4 seconds left. So I want to be using Mongoose Bite as much as I can because it does so much more damage right now. Get one more off, I think. Yeah, there we go. Then I can throw a bomb. Now is when I will use Flanking Strike, get focus back. I'm going to start another Mongoose Bite window. That shot on cooldown. And that is so far, that's like the whole rotation really. You see I'm doing about almost 60k sustained after almost 2 minutes. It's pretty strong. I have the wrong stats in this. I have so much crit and mastery. I need haste. Haste is like the best stat. I'm all enchanted and decked out for marksmanship. But it's still really, really impressive single target damage. And this is the Mythic Plus build, by the way. This isn't even the raid single target build. This is just the Mythic Plus build. So the single target for this spec is really strong. And yeah, so next we're gonna go over our trinkets. We can also look at the tier sets. So the 2 set gives us Mongoose Bite, Carve, and Butchery damage increased by 15%. Mongoose Bite, Carve, and Butchery have a 20% chance to make your next Mongoose Bite, Carve, or Butchery cost no focus and deal 50% damage. That's pretty strong. It's not too crazy of a set bonus, but it does, you know, every little bit helps. And next I want to go over the trinkets. So the best raid trinkets from the raid are Mana Grief Torch and Whispering Arcanet Icon. Luckily I have both of those. They don't give us any haste, but Mana Grief Torch is a huge single target and AOE damage dealer, and its cooldown reduces when someone in your group dies. This is also a really strong, just a ton of crit and agility. It also gives you a buff if a different person in your group has it. This is good as well. But it lacks you from movement. So I don't recommend this trinket. You get this from Dathia, but you stand still for like, I don't know, how long does it say? 10 seconds. So you can't move for 10 seconds. It does amazing DPS, but you can't move. So be careful with this if you use that one. And then for Mythic Plus trinkets, this one is a lot of haste, which is really nice for survival. You get a lot of focus regeneration, and you just be able to spam more Mongoose Bites during your Mongoose Fury windows. Hunger the Pack, this one's really good as well. It's just like it says, it's like a stat stick, so just got really good stats on it. A lot of crit, a lot of agility. This is also a good trinket. It has haste on it. The agility proc isn't great, but it's good. Puzzle Box is really strong on marksmanship. It's not great on survival because we don't really need mastery, but it gives us a ton of mastery, so it's not that great. And then this Whetstone is really good for AoE, but not great for single target. I would prefer to go with the top 2 in either raid or a combination of the top 2 and raid for Mythic Plus. These are all really strong trinkets, and if you can get your hands on any of these, it'll be really nice. And then obviously, you know, Lariat's really good. And then this trinket from Quarter Stars is amazing if you can get it. Just gives us a nice little auto attack damage buff. And that's the guide, guys. That's everything. If you want to see the raid guide, that's going to be coming out next week, where I'm going to learn the raid spec on each boss. We're going to do the raid on normal with the stream. Try it out, see what it's like. I hope this guide helped you out. If it has, please comment, like, subscribe. It helps out the channel out a lot. Have fun using your spears, using your polar arms, getting into melee. It's a very different play style, but I recommend you guys try it out if you haven't already. It's really fun. It's very different. And I'll see you guys next time.